Okay, I want to talk a little bit this morning about healthy food. Again, I'm a healthy food nut now. I used to be a vitamin nut, and unfortunately, vitamins have failed me. So I'll do a quick summary. We thought vitamins were good. We know low B12, give you B12. Low B12 dangerous, deadly, anemia, brain damage, nerve damage. Low B12 bad, replace it good. If a little B12 is good when it's low, then it makes perfect sense to me, and I used to argue this, a lot more is good. So you'll remember from the manual, the writing that I did for many years ago, that's still in the manual that says take 3 high-dose multivitamins a day. Because I believe in big doses of vitamins. Okay, bummer news. And I've got a bunch of videos on this year. Consumer Reports and Reader's Digest have had big articles on this. I've referred to those articles on the Amplify page. They are in some of the emails. If you want to catch up on them, you might do a search on them. Very interesting, basically saying that there's a whole batch of research showing if you have low beta-carotene in your blood, you have more cancer. If you have low beta-carotene in your blood and you eat fewer carrots, you have more heart attacks. If you have low alpha-tocopherol, vitamin E in your blood, more heart attacks, stroke, and death. If you have low vitamin C, there's some risk, cancer and different things. So we took that research and we said, gee whiz, maybe that low value doesn't actually mean taking more tablets would help. So we did what's called the gold standard for scientific information these days. They took thousands, 27,000 veterans from the Veterans Administration, a multi-million-dollar study of smokers who they knew had a high risk of getting lung cancer because they're veterans who smoke. And they knew that that group gets a lot of lung cancer. And they saw the research on the alpha-tocopherol, vitamin E, and beta-carotene, vitamin A, and they said, let's give half of them some vitamin A, and half of them vitamin E, and half of them nothing, and half of them both of them. So that's the 4 halves. So math was not my strong suit. And when they finished that up, they knew what they projected. Their hypothesis was, give them a pill with this good stuff in it, less cancer in these smokers. And what did they find? It didn't help, and then there's a hint of data, in not that study but in others, that they had more hip fractures and maybe have actually had more cancer. Okay? Now, I'm not going to bore you. I've got probably 24 articles where people found low vitamins, gave high vitamins, and it hurt them. I'll do it one more time because I know you don't believe. I can see the face. It's not the face of believers. It's the face of skeptics. I'll do it one more time though. B12, B6, folate, all good vitamins. Low levels of those vitamins damaging dangerous diseases. Normal levels good. When those levels are high, those levels decrease a bad chemical in your bloodstream called homocysteine. And homocysteine is a precursor to hardening the arteries, heart attack, stroke, and death. So if you do research, you find people with low B6, low folate, low B12, they have more heart attack, stroke, and death. So they took a group of diabetics with advancing kidney failure from narrowing arteries, some of whom had low B12, B6, folate, not bad low, but slightly low, and they gave them 2 years worth of high doses of folate, B6, and B12. Good old, plain old B vitamins like you can buy in the grocery store. Okay? At the end of 2 years, which group of diabetics had worse kidney function?
The vitamins.
Yeah, the ones getting the high-dose B vitamins. Just published in the Journal of the American Medical Association this summer. Very disappointing, but again, let me say it again because you probably think I misspoke. Maybe you fell asleep during this and didn't quite understand it. Diabetics, they lose their kidney function because the arteries start to narrow. Okay? Arteriosclerosis, fatty arteries, homocysteine, high, more narrowing, B12, B6, folate decreases homocysteine. So they said that should open up the arteries. So let's give these patients a whole bunch of good, plain old, simple B12, folate, B6. They did. They measured homocysteine, and homocysteine went down. But at the end of 2 years, the group of diabetics who got the vitamins did worse. Okay, I could do 100 more studies like that. Lots of research shows that if you have beta-carotene in your blood that's high, you'll have less cancer. If you have alpha-tocopherol in your blood that's high, you'll have less cancer. But when we gave people controlled prospective trials where we gave them the pills of vitamin A or vitamin E, it didn't help. And there's some research that B12 and other things might hurt. Okay, I know you can't stand it. I'll do it one more time. I know you haven't bought into this yet. I can see your faces. I need you on my side with this to go further. Okay, vitamin D. Vitamin D, good. Vitamin D, good. People with high vitamin D, low cancer, low heart attack, low stroke and death. People with low vitamin D, high cancer rates, higher death rates, high heart attack rates. Low vitamin D, more osteoporosis, falls, death, hip fractures, hip replacement. Low vitamin D, bad. High vitamin D, good. They had some studies that were kind of flaky, so a group in Australia said, you can't fool me. I know this vitamin D is good. Look at all this research. They gave women, 3,000 women with low vitamin D and osteoporosis, they gave them 250,000 units of vitamin D as a single tablet at the beginning of each year for 3 years, and they measured their bloodstream, and their vitamin D went up. Okay, got it? So they got vitamin D, their vitamin D went up. At the end of 3 years, they had 2 groups. I got vitamin D, I didn't get vitamin D. Which group had more hip fractures and falls and a worse outcome?
We got the ones that didn't.
Okay, very frustrating information to us vitamin believers. Okay? How can we explain this? How can we explain this? Okay, I want to talk about the fin of the shark that bit you and the canary in the mine. Okay? If I'm swimming and I see a fin of a 30-foot great white shark coming at me, just the fin, I am scared to death, and there's a good chance I'll die. But it isn't the fin that actually kills me. The fin is a warning. It's a flag. It tells me there's a 30-foot great white shark. But the fin has no risk to me at all, but it tells me something. It's a hint. It's a warning. Okay? So what people are suggesting now is when you find low levels of beta-carotene in somebody's blood, does it mean that they need a tablet of vitamin A, or does it mean that that group of people is eating a different kind of diet? Okay? Low vitamin A, not many carrots in your diet. Okay? Low vitamin D, you're not out in the sun much. You're not exercising much. Okay? You're not out in the sun. So what they're arguing now with all this research where the vitamin itself is failing is that when you see these studies that are equivocal. Low vitamin D, higher risk, those people were in the dark, not going outside, not in the sun, maybe not exercising, because that's the fact, not the vitamin D or the vitamin A or the B12 itself, it's you're eating a bad diet. Vitamin E, beta carotene in your bloodstream tells you not that that's going to kill you, because that's the fin of the shark. The shark, the teeth, is eating a healthy diet full of fresh fruits and vegetables and green healthy foods, as opposed to a diet of Twinkies and Big Macs. Okay? Now, as Americans, what I would like, is I was driving here to work this morning. I was late. So I would like to open my glove compartment, have a Twinkie, a canned juice or can of Sprite or Coca-Cola, or a shot of a canned Starbucks. And because those two, the Twinkie and the canned Starbucks, are not good for me, I would like to follow it with a multivitamin so that I would be healthy. Okay? What I don't want to do is cut up a fresh orange and try and eat an orange from the rind while I'm driving. You know, if I had a Twinkie, I can answer the phone, I can shave, I can put on my makeup, I can drive, all that with one hand while I eat the Twinkie. Fresh fruit, tossed salad, hard to eat while you're driving, right? So Americans want that multivitamin hypothesis to work. What I'm telling my patients now is the latest research, including research this morning that we're going to talk about. Healthy foods, yes. That's the shark. It's not the fin, it's not the vitamin themselves. So you can't be healthy over the rest of your life by relying on vitamins. You have to eat healthy foods, okay? So let's talk about healthy foods. It means fresh fruit in the morning. It means you have to have an orange or a banana or blueberries. It doesn't mean that you can have hash browns, bacon, and a multivitamin. You're allowed to certainly have that occasionally, but the foundation of your diet, if you want health, is to eat a healthy diet. And that's what all this research shows. Finally, what about vitamin D? You can't get vitamin D to be as effective, according to this research, and I don't want to tell you this, without going outside. And people start getting upset with me. I don't want to tell you this. I'm sorry. You got to go outside. You got to go out in the sun. You got to get unclothed as much as is reasonable with local laws. And those of you who are from Oregon or Alaska or Idaho and don't have as much sun, it doesn't change what makes you healthy. I would like to give you the answer for the fact that you guys live in a dark, cold place. But you need to be out in the sun as much as possible, and it becomes even more important the further north you go, because the research is very clear. As you go further north, you get more heart attack, stroke, and death, and cancer. So that attempt to get out in the light, to have the sun, that's the shark. And you can't make up for it by the vitamin D alone. Now, it's still controversial. Could you take the vitamin D? And there's a bunch of, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing to take the vitamins. But what's clear is that the real shark, the real thing that's bothering our patients and bothering people in the United States, is not that we're missing out on vitamins. It's that we're eating an unhealthy diet and our lifestyle isn't as healthy as it should. So, the most important thing you might be able to do for your health is buy a dog. Because that 20-minute walk outdoors through rain and sleet and snow and with the sun, and having yourself as nearly naked as is reasonable for good society is probably the most important, and probably much more important on whether you take 3 or 1 multivitamin a day.
And that is sunscreen, right?
Absolutely. Now, right now, there's a dermatologist watching this video on YouTube, and his head's exploding. His hair is on fire, and he's yelling at his TV screen. He's shooting at the TV screen with a shotgun or something like that. And so let me help you out. The dermatologists are tense about the sun. Okay, and it is true that too much sun can harm us and cause skin cancer. But let's put it into perspective. The total number of deaths from skin cancer every year in the United States is around 1,000. The total number of deaths from hip fractures alone, not talking about heart attacks and stroke and cancer, is 250,000. Now, it doesn't mean, I'm not saying that you have a job like mine where you're indoors the whole week, and then on Saturday you go out at sunrise naked and lay in the sun until you're cooked and baked and the sun goes down. That's not the solution. In fact, that's the good way to get skin cancer. But what the best recommendations that I can read right now is every day for lunch, for breakfast, or dinner, or all three, take a 20-minute, 30-minute, maybe even 60-minute, depending on the amount of sun. If you're in Boise, you might have to walk outside the whole day.
We have lots of sun, it's just cold.
Well, that's right. So you want to get as much of yourself exposed in that cool sun as you can for health. And you can't make up, this is the part that it's hard for people to get. You can't make up for it by saying, I think I'll skip that today. I'll make up for it Saturday by being outdoors all day, and I'll take 200 high-dose multivitamins during the week to make up for it, because that actually may be more harmful than good.
So it's continual.
Every day, and every way. Think about, when God was creating us, we are supposed to run around outdoors, chase down an antelope, choke it to death, drag it back to the fire, and then our loving wife and 2 squalling babies will have been digging in the garden, brought home wheat, and we will hammer it between a stone. All this will be outdoors because the cave is dark. It's hard to make wheat and dress an antelope in a cave. Okay, that kind of outdoors is probably more what we were designed for than what the life we're living now. So get outside. Probably number one. And number two is what you eat. Could you get by with movie popcorn, Snickers, Coke? Now, would I like to live on that? Okay. But a fresh green salad, bananas, oranges, grapefruit, berries, healthy, life-giving, natural, good for us. Okay? Again, I am brought to this kicking and screaming. I did not start this. I didn't want to tell you this.
So how many fruits a day would you say?
Well, I would put it differently. For my advice, now there are different people who do this differently, is eat a healthy diet. And if you're struggling to do that every day, you're doing the best you can. Okay? Does it mean you can't ever have bacon and eggs? You can't ever have a pie? You can't ever have cake? You can't ever have steak or lobster? No. Have all those things and enjoy it. But for you, if you want to think about being healthy today, you're going to look for some blueberries today. You're going to look for a banana. You're going to look for a green salad. And that's healthy. And put it out of your mind that it's healthy to take a multivitamin. It might be slightly. It's probably not a bad thing with your bypass. But the most important thing today is to have a green salad. The most important today is to cut up an apple. The most important, and I don't want to ruin your life by having you become some kind of, vegetarian, kind of Nazi. Have whatever you want. Have a healthy diet. Have fun. Have a Snickers bar. Have cake and candy and cookies. But the foundation of your diet is healthy. And so after you've had a healthy breakfast and a healthy lunch, if you want to have a Snickers bar, if you want to have cake or cookies or a hamburger or anything like that, fine. The foundation of your diet for the rest of your life is healthy, most meals every day. I want to eat healthy, most meals every day. That's the way, in my opinion, to stay healthy from all the research I read. Lots of research on vitamins, and I don't see any good research that taking the vitamin tablet is very helpful. Then there's some research, which is very annoying, suggesting that high doses of vitamins might actually be harmful. So you want to check your blood levels once a year, and if your blood levels of B6 or B12 or folate are high, you'll want to back off on your vitamins. If they're low, you do want to probably take some more, which occasionally happens. But the majority of the time, what we want to tell you is eat a healthy diet, eat a healthy diet, eat a healthy diet, eat a healthy diet.
Don't take any vitamins if you eat a healthy diet.
No, I still would take a multivitamin, long term, but I would make sure the first year you're taking, I'm back to 1, is what the new recommendation in my manual is going to say. And at the end of 1 year, we want you to check your blood levels. If you're like most of our patients, you're going to have normal blood levels. If you have any abnormality, as a woman, a former patient, if you still have your menstrual cycle, you're almost certainly going to have low iron, and that's a whole separate discussion. There's a whole discussion on iron. It's a whole separate video. You know, I've been talking on this particular video for quite a while, so I don't particularly want this moment to go into a discussion about iron. It's very important, and that supplement is valuable in women who are having their menstrual cycle and losing their iron. So everything I said about iron is not correct. The multivitamins, not so much, but iron seems to really be important, and that's a whole different talk. Because close to 20% of our female patients who are still having their cycle do get low iron. And low levels of iron, just like low levels of B12 or low levels of folate, are dangerous, and you want to fix them. And there's a whole talk about Proferin and new drugs, what to do about your menstrual cycle and things like that on some of the other videos. Some of you post-ops, any vitamin questions? Is that?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, hi, I'm Stacy. I am about a year and a few months. I started at 286. I'm now at 139. I actually have a cute picture to show you. My family thought I was totally weird last night, but I wanted to do this so bad. The other night I was cleaning out my closet, which one thing you do have to do is clean out your closet a lot. And I put my pants on, and I realized I could get into half of my pants. So last night, I had my husband get in my pants with me. I know that sounds weird.
I might, yeah, let me just turn off the video.